It's very, very, very exciting having you joining me for another evening of learning. And I think that it's amazing that during this COVID time, we keep on doing these shiurim quite regularly. Oh, Hashem. And there are still ladies that are showing up, and I think it's really amazing. And it gives me an opportunity to learn before the Chag, and I very much appreciate it, and I'm very thankful. And now we're gonna start learning about Pesach, and there's so much to learn about Pesach. There are literally books and books written about Pesach, so it was hard to choose. And maybe I'll do maybe also next week's shiur. We'll see how it works out, but we'll see. There is really much to learn, but we're going to start this evening with something, Bezat Hashem, hoping that it will make our Chag and our preparations for the Chag meaningful. I would like to start learning about Or Arba'asar, the night before the 14th of Adar. We have a mitzvah, and the mitzvah is to check our houses and to make sure that we don't have chametz. And it's done in a very special way. We turn off all the lights, we walk around with a feather, with a candle, and we look for chametz in the different cracks and small corners of the house, and we look for it. And by us, we do, again, we prepare in advance all the pieces of bread, and we make itamar sit somewhere. It's the way my mother used to do for my father, so that's how I do. I think maybe everyone does it this way. I'm just excited about it, but that's the regular way. But what we do is we hide it, and then the girls get so excited, and he walks around looking for the pieces of the chametz, and the girls are like, "Oh, it's not there! It's there!" It's a whole thing. It's a whole event looking for the chametz, and it's something that could seem a little strange for someone who is not Jewish and wasn't raised doing that every year. It's something that seems kind of like a play. Like, what are we doing here? And why do we need to look for the chametz in every single crack of the house? And it doesn't matter where I hide the chametz. Itamar will go every single corner. He will open every closet. He will look at every single shelf, including the ones that are in our bedrooms and the ones that are in the kitchen and under the couches. Like, it's a whole thing. Like, we really go, and that's how you're supposed to do. You're supposed to look at every single corner of the house. And what is that? Why? Isn't it enough the past week, or I wish 1 week, the past weeks, we were cleaning and cleaning? Isn't it enough? So I love learning before Pesach, the book Netivot Shalom. Before holidays in general, I think that it's an amazing book, and I highly recommend. And he explains something about the chametz. He says, right, there is chametz, the chametz that we know, which is when you take flour and water and you mix them together and you let it rise. That's chametz. But he says there is also like spiritual chametz. And what is the spiritual chametz? He says, in every single person, there is chametz. And he says basically the chametz is pride. And also, if you'll open the book, Chot Tzadikim, it's a book that talks about the passage for the righteous. And he explains how to purify yourself, or how to make yourself a better person, how to change your bad qualities and how to turn them into good qualities. And he says the first and worst quality that there is pride. Because he says, what is pride? It's basically the source of every single other bad character that there is. Because if you're so proud, if you think that you deserve so many things, you're more likely to get angry, because you think that you deserve so much, but you're not getting it in real life. And then it makes you frustrated and angry. And it will make you lazy, because you think, well, I'm the most amazing Tegel Grimlum in the world. I don't need to work hard. When a person is proud, it's a place that brings him very easily to other bad qualities. And he says, mainly, that is the worst quality that there is, pride. And he says, chametz, it's like pride. Why? Because when you take flour and water and you mix them together, it rises. And when a person is proud, he thinks himself so much higher. He in the eyes of himself, he rises up and he sees himself as this great thing, even though it's all air and nothing and it's empty. So he says basically chametz, that you let it rise and rise. It's like a person who rises up and up with his pride. And it's the source of all the other bad qualities. That's what he explains. And he says the mitzvah of Pesach is to check, which is, so we have the mitzvah of checking that there is no chametz, b'dikat chametz, that we do at the night on the 14th, the night before the 14th of Nisan. There's another mitzvah of bi'ur, which means to light it in fire and to burn all of the chametz. And then we do bitul. What does it mean? You say all the chametz that I don't know of, and I didn't find and I didn't burn it, let it be as if it was canceled. So all these things that we're supposed to do with the chametz, it's not only something that we're supposed to do with the real chametz that we see in our house, it's also something that we need to do with ourselves. We also have to go through this process of cleaning and purifying ourselves and becoming better people and burning away and taking away all the bad parts that are in us. And he says the same things. There are levels with impurity. There are also levels, the same way there are levels or different kinds of chametz. In reality, there are also different kinds of in a way, of evil or of bad things inside a person. So there is the nir'ah la'ain, which means chametz that we see, right? You go in the kitchen and you see a piece of bread on the counter. That is called nir'ah la'ain, which means chametz that is visible. And we also, in ourselves, we have chametz that is visible. We have things that we know of. Every person knows what are his bad tendencies or what are the bad things he has inside himself that he doesn't want to have. Like, let's say someone knows that he tends to be jealous. Someone knows he tends to talk about other people. Another person might know that he tends to lose his patience or get angry easily. Another person might know that he really likes money. Could be many, many different things, but these are things that are visible, that are known to us. We are likely, people know what are the bad things inside themselves. And then there is unknown, and you know yodua, which means chametz, that we don't know of its existence. You can have in a hidden corner in your pantry a small piece of bread that you don't know of, and it's there. And maybe you won't even find it cleaning for Pesach. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's there, but you don't know of it. So the same way, you can have a person that has some bad qualities, but he's just fully unaware of them. And there's another level of chametz, which is balua. What does it mean? Which means you can have a dish or something that is kosher, but then there's a small piece of chametz inside this kosher dish. So what do you do with this dish? Or another thing that could be, and that is a little more like there's a person that could do good things, but even when you do those good things, there could be a small side to it that is not so good. For example, you give tzedakah, and it's so good to give tzedakah, but you kind of do it because you're dating, and the person you're dating is with you now on a date, and he sees you giving the money to this person. So it's good that you gave tzedakah, it's really good, but on the other hand, you did it a little bit because you wanted him to see. So this is also something that can happen, that we do good things, but also in the good actions that we do, there are sides that are not so good. It also be, so there are different levels of chametz in this world, in our existence, and there is also different levels of chametz inside ourselves. And there's a pasuk that says, "Ubi'arta hara mikirbecha," which means that you're obligated to find the evil inclination or the bad sides in yourself and to burn them. And equally, in exactly the same way, we are obligated to burn the chametz. We're obligated to set a big fire. Here, it doesn't happen so much. In Israel, what they do, they literally light a big fire. And if there are cities, for example, and you can't just randomly find an empty field and light a fire, what they do, they put huge garbage cans. It's like this, we call them frogs. It's like this green big thing made of metal. And then the police come and they set a fire. And then everyone throws their chametz inside, and there's people in charge making sure that it's still under control and that it's safe and everything. But it's a whole thing. And they place these, and like every few streets you can find one of these, and then you can throw all your chametz. The whole project before Pesach. So the same way we're supposed to burn, literally burn in fire, all of the chametz, we're supposed to burn all the bad things we have inside ourselves, our evil inclinations or all the bad tendencies we have. Now, when are we supposed to do this? When are we supposed to go and look exactly where's the chametz? And you know that this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to, the same way we go through this process of cleaning the chametz, which means the weeks before Pesach, we go and we look in every corner and we clean as hard as we can. So equally, exactly the same way, we're supposed to do this thing with ourselves. We're supposed to think with ourselves and take the time and not just let it, like, you know, I don't have the time, I'm too busy, sit down. Could be before you go to sleep or when you wake up in the morning, and when you have a break at work, sit down, think, or even make a list of what are the things you don't like. What are the things that you would like to change? Make a list and then work hard on changing them. If you know that you feel that you're lazy, so it's something that you take into your attention and you say, I don't want to be lazy. I want to change. And from now on, I'm going to do better. From now on, when I feel in myself that I'm being lazy, I'm going to force myself to get up. And not even necessarily because the thing I'm about to do is so important. It's just because I don't want to be lazy. It's a good enough reason to get up and work hard and change. So after you make this list, you work on yourself and you become better. And you clean from inside yourself all those bad things. This is what we do before Pesach. We clean the house in every single corner, in every small part of the house that you don't always look. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to clean every single corner of yourself, every single corner of your soul. And it's exactly the same way. And then afterwards, we're checking the house, we're going with a candle and we're looking in every single crack, in every single corner of the house. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to really take the time and check. Really take the time and look at yourself and look at your life and see where do you have chametz hidden in your life and try to clean it away and move it away. Make sure that there isn't anything that you don't want to have. There are people who say, I was born that way. It's too late for me. I'm already 70 years old and this is the way I am, and you should just accept me the way I am. And you know what? Maybe other people should treat other people as if they accept them the way they are. And we shouldn't walk this planet looking at people and thinking, I should change this person. But on the other hand, every single person should look at himself as a work in progress, which means if we are exactly the way we are, and we're never going to change, and we're going to be in 10 years exactly the same way we're now, so what are we doing here? Why are we waking up in the morning? It's a little harsh, but why are we going through one day at a time, one after the other, if we know that in 10 years we're going to be in exactly the same place? If we don't see ourselves changing and becoming better and better and better and accomplishing things, real accomplishments, not earning money, something that really matters, then what's the point? So we need to do that. We need to go and we need to check what are the things we can change? What are the things that we can be better? And then after you find these things, checking, and b'dikat chametz, b'dika is to check. And then you need to set it on fire. You need to burn those parts in you and be better. And burn in fire, trying to change these things, not just make a list and let it sit in your drawer and say, oh, these are the things I would like to do differently. No, you should work hard, significantly, and dedicate time and dedicate effort and make it happen. So we said that this check we do on the night before the 14th of Nisan. And the Netivot Shalom says maybe it's a hint, maybe it comes to tell us about the 14th year of our lives, right? Because men, on the 14th year of their lives, they become bar mitzvah, they become obligated in mitzvot. And right after they bar mitzvah, they are considered adults and they have to do all of those mitzvot, everything that is written in the Torah. And the Netivot Shalom says, this is the year that you become a Jew. When a boy turns 13, then he gets the obligation, he becomes obligated for all of those mitzvot, for all of those things that make us Jewish. And on that year, or before that year, the night before, this is the time you need to start in cleaning your chametz. This is when you're supposed to start and look at yourself and make yourself worthy to this big mission, to this big role of becoming a Jew and becoming obligated to do all of those mitzvot and to practice everything that there is in the Torah. This is when you're supposed to start and dedicate the time and make yourself better. And there's also something very interesting that I learned. We say every morning, we say Shelo Asani God, which means we thank Hashem for choosing us. We thank Hashem for not making us Gentiles. And then there is a question, why do we thank Hashem for not being a Gentile? Why don't we thank Hashem for being Jewish? Thank you, Hashem, for making me Jewish. Why do we say, thank you, Hashem, for not making me a Gentile? And I heard a very nice answer. The answer was, Hashem makes you not a Gentile, but you make yourself a Jew, which means just because you're not a Gentile, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a Jew. You are Jewish. You have the stamp in your passport. No, not anymore. It doesn't even say in your ID anymore. But you know what? You're Jewish. And if you go to the rabbinical things, it will be written, Jewish. To be a real Jew, to be a person that is passionate about the Torah and about Hashem and works hard and trying to be better and trying to do all the mitzvot and taking this life mission of being a Jew, this is something that you choose to do. And this is something that you choose to become. And this is something that is on your responsibility to turn yourself into a Jew. Being a Jew is more than just a title. Being a Jew is a mission. And you take this mission upon yourself. So Hashem makes you not a goy. Hashem makes you not a Gentile. But you're the one to make yourself a Jew. And this is the responsibility that we have. And this is how we do it, by becoming better, by changing ourselves and purifying ourselves to the highest level possible. And this is how we do it. We look at the bad things that we do, and we look even at the good things that we do. Maybe they have a bad side, and trying to clean it away from ourselves, trying to burn it. And this is also why we do it on Pesach. On Pesach, we were chosen to be a nation. We were given this task as a nation, this mission, this destiny as a nation. And before we take it upon ourselves on the night of Pesach, on the night of Leil Seder, so the night before, we need to make sure that we're worthy. We need to go through this process of cleaning ourselves, of purifying ourselves, of checking ourselves and burning the bad things that we find. And how do we do that? It says that when we do the bdikat chametz, when we check that we don't have chametz, we need to use a candle. So we walk around the corners of the house holding this candle. And what is this candle? So there is a pasuk that says Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam, which means Hashem's candle is the soul. It means every soul that there is in this world, it's like Hashem's candle. So that's one question that we can ask. What is this candle that we're supposed to use? And another question that we can ask is, we said that there are levels of chametz, right? Like there's chametz that we know, that we find. There's the chametz that we don't know of. There's the chametz that is inside something that is kosher, and there's a piece of chametz inside, and then what do we do with it? And then we said that there are also levels, the same way we have these levels with real chametz, we also have these levels inside ourselves. So there's as we said, hidden chametz. What are we supposed to do with hidden chametz? If there is chametz inside of me that I don't know of and I can't find, what am I supposed to do with it? How am I supposed to fight it? How am I supposed to burn it away? How can I be blamed for not cleaning it if I have no idea that it even exists? So the answer is, we said the candle is the soul, the Jewish soul. So the answer that Netivot Shalom says is, don't worry. When we look for the chametz on the night before the 14th of Nisan, when we check that we don't have chametz in the house, we use the light of the candle. And every Jewish soul is Hashem's candle. So when you don't know what is your chametz, when you don't know what are the things that are in your way, your soul, the light of your soul will bring them to your attention. Don't worry, because if you really look for them, Hashem won't let you leave this world with unfinished business when you tried very hard to finish your business. If you try very, very hard to purify yourself and to clean yourself and to bring yourself to the highest level possible and to find all the bad things inside yourself and burn them, Hashem won't let you leave this world without finding everything that there is to fix. And then your neshama, your soul, will be the one to guide you and to show you what are the things that need to be changed and what are the things that need to be checked and fixed and burnt if necessary. And another pasuk we have is Kiner mitzvah v'torah, which means every mitzvah is like a candle, and the Torah is the light itself. So when another advice or another thing that can give us hope or can guide us, what we can do with the chametz that we don't know of and we're not aware of, or what can we do with the chametz that we do know of? What are the tools that we were given in this world in order to find the chametz and burn it? So the mitzvot are our candles, and the Torah is our light. So if you don't know what to do or how to start or where to find or what to find, then you can start with this. Use the light of the Torah. Learn. Use the light of the mitzvot, and they will guide you. Another thing that I thought is necessary to talk about, because the reality here is very different than it is in Israel, and I'm enjoying it so much, is that here you have domestic help. So it means you don't clean your house. Some of you don't clean your house by yourself, and you have someone else cleaning for you, and that is a pleasure. Believe me, I'm enjoying it so much. But if we said now that this is a spiritual process, it's more than just cleaning your house and having it to be clean. As we said, dust is not chametz. Right? If you do like this and you find dust, it's okay. It's not chametz. And we need to clean the house from chametz, and it's for Pesach, but it's more than just cleaning the chametz. It's about cleaning who we are, and it's about going through something with ourselves. So I know you have a domestic helper, some of you, and I know that she probably works very hard, but try to do something by yourself. Choose a closet and say, this is my closet. I will go through every single thing in this closet and clean it myself. Or there are many, many stories about, also in the past, in Jewish history, when there were people that were very, very wealthy, and they had servants cleaning their houses and preparing everything they needed for Shabbat, but still, they worked very, very, very hard before Shabbat, even though they didn't have to. Even if all they could is to just find this little thing that they could do by themselves, which it could be just to make challah, or just set the candles, or even just to clean the kitchen, or something, even something small. Whatever kind of small preparation they could do for Shabbat, they did, even though they didn't have to, even though they had the domestic help and they had servants even to do everything for them. They tried very, very hard to prepare something for Shabbat by themselves. So the same thing for Pesach. Even if you have a helper, try to find the time and do something by yourself. Leave yourself a corner of the house to do on your own, and try when doing it, thinking and concentrating on how you're not just cleaning your house, you're cleaning yourself. I think this is it. I hope very much that we will have a meaningful Chag, that we will take advantage of the time and to make ourselves worthy to be chosen, to make ourselves worthy of this great mission that we were given. Being a Jew is not just a title, it's a mission, it's a destiny, and it's hard work. And we need to, we call it, which means don't just lie down, lean backwards, and rest. We're here to work hard. My grandmother used to tell me, I'll rest after I die. Which is, she was Persian, but it's kind of like an Ashkenazi thing to say. But it's, you know what? We should rest after. Now it's a time to work hard. Now it's a time to take advantage of every single day that we're given and do better and to try to be better. And in this Pesach, this time, it's a very good time to hold on to the days and to take advantage of the spiritual lights that are being given to us, and to let the time influence us also. Thank you very, very much for joining me for another